Nicole a few months ago when she was talking about this interesting data points they have in their assessments and moving all their assessments in-house. Sorry, recruiters. It's just, I said that, my goodness, you need to share this with the world. So I'm very happy to hand over to you, Nicole. Did it work? Just share. It's okay. So we just need to plug in. Yep. And love it. Okay. I love the little music. Okay. Okay. It's almost loading. It's almost loading. And then if you click share here, I think so. Let's do window. Window. This is your presentation. Share. Okay. And then we can click full screen. Let's check that it works. Where? My goodness, can we just have a round of applause to all of us for making it work first time? My goodness. Who says experience is not correlated with performance? Anyways, Nicole, over to you. Oh, right, your mic. Narcissism.
Taking it away from me. Hello, everyone. Hi. So I'm Nicole Wade. I'm from Lloyd's Banking Group. Lily and Dan were just talking about LNG stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, we need to do a collaboration here because I think you are where we want to get to, and I think we've done stuff that maybe you might be interested in. So I joined Lloyd's about 2 years ago. I am an executive assessment lead there, and essentially we stopped using suppliers to do all our exec assessments. So we've got 300 execs at Lloyd's, and there were two reasons I joined. I came from consulting. So one of the reasons I joined was because it was really cool to be able to build something from scratch, an assessment proposition from scratch. I thought that would be great. The second piece is Lloyd's is going through a massive transformation. So it's the biggest in the financial services sector, and it's the biggest of Lloyd's history. So to give you a sense of Lloyd's, we've been around for over 325 years, so rich in legacy. So if you think about any change, OD, restructures, we're going through a massive digital agenda. If you think of that context in which we're operating in, and we've got such a rich legacy and history, and our purpose is all around helping Britain prosper, there's huge changes as an OCPSYCH from a cultural, people, leadership aspect. So those were the main reasons that I joined Lloyd's about 2 years ago. This is some of the stuff that we do at Lloyd's. I'm sure you've heard of us, but we've got other brands like Scottish Widows, Halifax, Bank of Scotland, 60,000 employees. We've got a Lloyd's Technology Centre where we've got 6,000 engineers that are supporting our digital AI agenda. So we're going through a massive transformation in terms of digitalization. 28 million customers we serve, and 22 million of them are using our digital platforms to do banking.
Just otherwise, for some reason, online doesn't see things.
Oh, but then you've got all my speaker notes. And it looks like I'm over-prepared. What does it say about me?
Wait.
Shrink them down.
Let's take away the comedic value. Yeah, okay, it was all off the cuff.
There we go. Yeah, just totally making it up as I go. What else did I want to say? I didn't make some notes because I knew I'd go off script. Yeah, that's all right. All right, so we're moving at pace. Talent management and people are at the heart of what we do. And our team is very much about supporting the business, identify and develop talent for the future. So we started with the exec population, and now we're starting to scale it to our 60,000 colleagues. And this is where things get a bit scary and interesting. We're not there yet. We're on a journey. So I wanted to talk to you about our key milestones. So I'm immensely proud of what we've done. Carol from our team is here in the background waving. We launched our new proposition in September 2023, brand new team, bringing everything in-house. And we built what we call a microsite, which everyone can access the different tools and all the assessments from. And we did that in 12 weeks. New team, new company, new approach. So we were moving at pace. And actually the microsite is still up and running. And we still use it today. So whatever we did in those 12 weeks, It's still fit for purpose, and we are starting to cascade that further down the organization. So we launched the proposition early 2024. You'll see that by the end of last year, we had taken pretty much all our execs through the assessment proposition. We still have some people on the naughty step, probably says something about them in terms of non-compliance. But we've got most of them through it. And we then pivoted into assessing all new execs coming into the business. So all new hires and all new promotions into the exec. So we managed to assess about 60 people last year in that space. We had a really teeny tiny team, I think. So we had 3 assessors in-house. We did draw on a couple of associates. At our peak, it was about 4 people. And then we had brilliant ops support. So I think that was the key to our success, really. Because if you imagine we're putting hundreds of people through a process, we're capturing every single data point along the way. And so we needed to track, capture, and populate individual profiles for each person. So, an amazing, thank you, Carol. The PRIA updated in August 2024. So that from a Lloyd's, come from consulting into a big corporate bank. The PRIA is around how we use our data privacy. And so when we started out, our PRIA, our data privacy clause, was extremely tight. There were reasons behind that. And one of the pieces was we wanted our execs to trust us. So in terms of how my data is stored, who has access to my data, what conversations are happening on the back of that, our PRIA was super, super tight. So our team only had access to the data. We didn't share data. Thanks. We didn't share individual personalized data on our execs, only anonymized aggregate insights. So there was a big, extensive PRIA. That changed in August over the summer. Some of us came back from holiday. And the PRIA had opened up. And so we went back to the execs and we had to recontract with them. And they were given the option to opt out and for us to delete their data if they didn't want people to have access to it. So we started to share our data more widely. Again, we were very clear about what data we share and don't share, recognizing that people aren't necessarily trained up to interpret or make leaps of faith about people. We don't use development data for selection decisions. So we put guardrails in place. But at that point, it was a big changing point for us as a team in terms of who has access to what we make available, and sort of the ethics and standards that we held were particularly high at that point because it was a bit of a change. Come this year, there's a lot of new on the slide. So at the beginning of this year, we launched a new employee value proposition at Lloyd's. It's all about faster forward. Everything got rebranded. So everything that we did, the microsites, every single report that we were writing, everything needed to go through a massive rebranding. We also launched our new talent capabilities framework. So with that, what it meant was originally we were reporting out in Hogan terms, well, our outputs were reflective of the tools that we were using. With our talent capabilities framework being launched, we then started reporting out in Lloyd's language. So in terms of our leadership capabilities, in terms of our potential framework. So we started using Lloyd's language, which made it easier for people to learn, less technical. So that was a whole refresh. And we started leveraging aggregate insights. So what we've now done is we've moved from individual white glove personalized experiences for our execs, one-to-one playbacks, personalized write-ups, very intensive, to using it at an aggregate level for team sessions. So we do Hogan team profiles. We work with our team effectiveness team on that. We also are launching our 2030 strategy. So we're now using it to help inform the, we've got sort of the pillars that underpin our talent strategy, and we're starting to think about what is the profile of our leaders today, and what should it look like in the future in order for them to deliver upon the strategy that we have. And we've started to build out dashboards, so BU functional dashboards, so that the business can get a sense of the profile of their leaders. We've also launched talent programs. We went through a team restructure. But overall, we've saved the bank £7 million in the last 2 years. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. By bringing it in-house. And now we're looking at 2026 and beyond. Lots here. I'd love to talk to people more about it. I'm super passionate about it. But we have lunch afterwards. Thought I'll give you a little sense of what we were actually doing. So this is with the execs. So it was very much around looking at multiple sources of data that we were gathering on people. So a lot of pre-work was involved. We used Hogan's, MVPI, HPI, HDS. We also used Ravens. We did, for development, we use our 360, which is linked to our 4Cs leadership framework. We also partner with an exec search firm who would analyze the CVs of our execs and give us an outside and market benchmark perspective in terms of their skills, knowledge, and experience. We got them to do a talking head, so their leadership story to camera. And we've also designed, in this period of time, I should also say, we also designed an internal potential framework that we now use at Lloyd's. So quite a lot of different sources of data. We pull it all together. We analyze it, we write up a personalized report for them, and we give them a playback. And on the back of that, we help them build out a development plan. So that's what we're doing. So key learnings from the process. I mean, it's fascinating just transitioning from consulting to in-house personally. I get to hang out with the same people every day. So when I used to assess people, and then I could remove myself from the situation, now they're all around me. So one of the things we did as a team is we actually physically based ourselves on a different floor away from our HR colleagues, because the data and the information we were dealing with was so sensitive, and people are super curious. And so we physically removed ourselves and worked separate, which was interesting. Now that we've integrated back into HR, people are like, who were you? What were you doing? How long have you been here? You know, so interesting from that aspect. Also about the importance of ethics and data privacy, and I've started talking about it, but we hold ourselves, I like to think we hold ourselves to a very high standard in terms of ethics. We have very senior people that are very curious about their colleagues, and we have to stand firm. And it's always, how would you feel if we were having this conversation about you? So we've been tested and pushed and in all different directions. But I'd like to say that we've maintained that, and I'm particularly proud of sort of protecting people along the way. Change is constant. Like, we're never in a steady state. There's always so much to do, so much to go after. There's so much opportunity. Resources are limited, time is limited. And so that changes just, you know, when you think you've done something and they're like, the rebranding's coming, and you're like, yay. Let's go back to the microsite. Data is our currency as a team. So one of the things, and I'd love to open this up if we have time, or you catch me over lunch, is we've got so much data, but literally it's sitting in spreadsheets. Because when we started, we were like top 300, it's kind of manageable. Now we're looking to cascade it to 60,000 employees, and we're like, this is not manageable. So now we're using it for aggregate insights. We're like spreadsheet upon spreadsheet, source of data, where are we? And we refresh it. So every 6 months we refresh our data, and we're starting to see the trends that are emerging as we're hiring new execs into the space and the shifts. And it is getting a little bit messy. And so whoever was saying they have a really good relationship with their analytics team, I'm super jealous. We are on that journey. So we need to, but data is our currency. We're now scaling the offering. And what we didn't do enough of, and we always need to do more of, because we were actually quite low recognition as a team, is we need to really showcase and celebrate. So next year is all about a refresh, which I'm super excited about because our data is now becoming redundant. So now we're trying to think about what are we going to do next with our execs? How do we refresh the data and the insights without putting them through a massive sort of pre-work process again? How do we re-engage them but get data on them that's objective and predictive? And how do we scale out our assessment proposition with limited resources? So that's what we're doing. Lots to talk about, super passionate about it, and I'll catch you over lunch.
And that's perfect timing, but we still have a good 10 minutes. So what I would like you to do is turn to the person next to you and discuss the question. If you were in our position, what would you do next? So just have a chat. What would you do if you were Lloyd's TSP? Go, 5 minutes, and then we'll do a Menti. So let them chat, and then we'll do a Menti to capture them. Oh, perfect. Thank you for keeping on time. This is perfect. Yeah, but that's it. Okay, and to share your thoughts, we're also going back to Mentimeter. So if you open up your phones and scan this in quickly, and then we'll also have the in-person version. So just quickly scan it in. Give it like 30 seconds. Yeah, we can see some thumbs up. Brilliant. So now everybody's in. Perfect, Renee. Thank you for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. So now type in what would you do differently, or what would you do next? Also, feel free to unmute yourself. I mean, just raise your hand. So what would you do differently? What would you do next? Right. Sorry. That's my neuroticism and then a critic. Yeah. Perfect. What would you do next? Employ a data scientist. Are you employing a data scientist?
No, but we would like to.
Build relationships. So high of agreeableness of you. Anybody would like to just share with us? Go me.
Hi, Kate Young from the AI company was speaking about an approach where using competency questions to assess behavior potential. So maybe you could scale by taking lessons from her, because it sounds like a reliable, valid way of assessing competence, but you have the scalability challenge and you're enjoying your cost savings. So perhaps you should employ some of these modern, well-tested approach.
Kate. Okay, how does that make you feel?
Thank you so much.
Talking about, yeah.
But I think if you've taken the decision to go, I mean, that's just my follow-up question is, by taking executive assessment wholly in-house, did you design everything from the ground up, including all the actual assessment tools, or were you still using external vendors, and how did you balance that?
Yeah, so we're still using obviously Hogan APS, Melvin. He gets around. And then further down, actually, we're using, I should have said SHL. So we're using OPQ, we're using Verify, and we're using the GSA. And they have mapped those tools to our values and our behaviors and our framework. So they've done that for us already. So actually, I should have mentioned that the offering is slightly different further down, just so we can differentiate it. But in principle, it's the same in terms of a suite of assessments, 360, talking head, all those kind of component parts are the same.
Excellent. So, any other questions? Or what stands out for you, apart from befriending data scientists?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, and this is clearly a very simple one to do. Bridge the gap between tech and humanity. No biggie.
We are looking at how we democratize the data, because one of the things is like we've physically got 3 OXICs and we're literally going around and meeting and greeting and having one-to-ones with everyone. So the way that we're now presenting back our data, we want it to be accessible. Before it was codified data, we had to interpret it. So we're democratizing the data by making it like like you can just look at it and make sense of it, whereas before it was very technical. So that's cool to see. And we are working more closely with our culture and leadership team around our strategy. It's a two-way relationship. That's actually a really strong one. So that's cool to see there as well. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And can we give a wonderful round of applause to Nicole? So now we break for lunch, 35 minutes. We can have you back by quarter two. That'd be lovely. I'll also send the copy of the slides. But on the last point of democratization and making data accessible, this will be our talk after lunch, and it will become clearer for you why Tsuki and Penny were smiling so much when those things were discussed. So good people, I will see you after lunch. Lunch is downstairs. Help yourself. And just come on up when ready, but hope by quarter two.